Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Hello everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Gobind and this is your Channel for Grace. I'm so excited, you guys, to finally be live again. It's been kind of a crazy week for me, a few weeks for me, and I'm sure it's been crazy for you guys too. We are definitely feeling the intense Mars retrograde energy over here. So if you don't know what's happening tonight, we are going to do mini readings for $25. If you want to sign up, you can send the $25 to my PayPal, and the link is in the description of this video. You can choose from an astrology reading, a transit reading, a tarot/oracle reading, and I could do compatibility as well, and we can look at progressions as well. So I have actually not been home for like a whole week because the smoke here in Oregon was so bad that we couldn't breathe. So we left for a while, and I've been uploading videos, and I hope you guys have been enjoying those. And we're finally back home, so it's good to be back. Let's see who's in the chat. We got Melanie. How's it going? We got Dawn. We got The Sauce. Hello. We have got Chanel here and Amity of Avalon. Welcome in, everyone. If you want to get on the list, the link is in the description. I think I just said that, but just for anybody that just showed up right now. So let's give you guys a little update on what is happening. We just got done with we just passed the new moon in Virgo, and I actually feel amazing from this new moon. I feel great. I feel like I am so ready to move forward with some projects that I've been working on. Next week, I am going to be hosting the Module 4 webinar, and we're going to be talking about the planet Mercury and everything that has to do with Mercury. Basically, what does it mean to have Mercury in all the signs, in all the houses? What does it mean to have Mercury retrograde in all the signs? The mythology, the mythological stories. Basically, Mercury is known as the messenger of the gods. So we're going to talk about why is he known as the messenger of the gods, and what's the symbolism there, and a lot of other stuff we're going to talk about. So if you want to learn astrology, you didn't know about it, I do have a level 1 course, which I've separated into modules. So Aquarian Astrology is the name of the course, but you can buy the modules separately, and each of the modules are just $33 each. So super affordable for you guys, and a really awesome way to learn astrology. Module 4, like I said, is happening next Saturday. So we're a week away. Oh, thanks, Melanie. Yes, we're a week away from that webinar. It's going to happen at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, September 26th. It's so crazy to even say that. And between now and then, we are going to be entering into the fall season. So the fall equinox is next Tuesday. And I will be, because this equinox, this day, is actually a very powerful astrological day. There's a lot of cool astrology aspects that are happening on that day and that are going to be basically setting up the stage for definitely the next 3 months. Because every time we have an equinox or a solstice, it sets up the stage for us for the next 3 months. But because this is going to be exactly halfway through the astrological year, the sun is going to move into the sign of Libra, and Libra is exactly 6 months after the sun moves into Aries. It is exactly opposing that spot. It's a big deal. It's more than just the next 3 months. It's actually the next 6 months. So we're going to do on Monday night, which I'm excited about. I'm going to do a live fall equinox astrology video where we'll talk about the astrology of the fall equinox and how it's going to be affecting us. And I'll go through all the houses and all that good stuff. Hi, Lily. And on Tuesday, on the day where the sun actually moves into Libra, we're going to do a celebration. So we're going to do a ceremony. I'm going to go live, and just like I do regular ceremonies, we'll do, that we'll chant the sacred songs and do a collective card reading, and I'll play some songs on my guitar. So I'm excited about that, and I really missed being able to do that this last time with this Virgo moon. And this Virgo moon has been feeling so amazing and so powerful, and I hope you guys are also feeling the amazingness of that. So that's what's coming up next week. I also have some really exciting news. My friend Tara Wild, and I have been working on this really awesome project, and it is a special guidebook that guides you through the astrology of the whole year, starting October 31st through 2021, through October 31st of 2021. And it guides you through the Celtic wheel of the year, and also the new moon and the full moons. And so I have brought in the astrology, and she has brought in the Celtic wisdom, the ancestors, and we are going to be releasing this book and doing a special event for the release of the book at the end of October. So that I am like, oh my God. So between now and then, I am like a busy bee getting ready for all these things. And in the near future, I'm going to just plant a little seed for you guys, because I have officially started moving in the direction of actually creating my own app, the Channel for Grace app, that you will be able to download onto your phone and access special content. And that, okay, it's going to be a minute before that comes out, because I have so much going on between, in the next few months. I'm still working on, the big project that is the focus for me is obviously the album, the music. And then we've got this amazing book. It's called, the book that me and my friend are coming out with is called A Circle of Stars. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. Oh, I can't wait for it to come out. And there's only going to be a limited number of printed copies available. And then after that, once those copies are sold, then it'll be an ebook, an interactive ebook experience for the rest of the year. And we are hoping that that is something that we can continue every year. So there's so many cool stuff. So you guys don't feel like, the universe is going through big shift. 2020 is the year of a lot of change, a lot of change, a lot of crazy things coming up, but it doesn't mean that you can't be successful. It doesn't mean that you can't create the most amazing, beautiful things in your life. So that's what we should be putting our focus on. And this channel is all about that, to help inspire you to keep your head above the water, and keep looking up at the stars, meet me in the stars, right? Yes, very, very busy, but very, very thankful that I can be this busy. Thanks. Yeah, these glasses are awesome. So let's go ahead and start some readings. Thank you, Janice. I am really happy. I was like, it was torture to not have really strong Wi-Fi. I am not going to lie about that. That I didn't have a hard time. Like we really enjoyed it. We stayed at this beautiful cabin. We got a break from all the crazy, obviously like the 5G towers and all this, the city of the energy of the city and stuff like that. And obviously the smoke. And that was like very much needed. But it was like an impromptu vacation, but it wasn't really a vacation because I had a lot of work to do. So it had to switch gears, and it very much felt like a Mars retrograde energy where things get slowed down, and it feels like you have to work extra hard to get things done, and that's that Mars retrograde energy that we're feeling. So I'm really happy to be back and to be able to go live and interact with you guys, because I know that you guys love this kind of thing, and I do too. I get a lot out of the live broadcast too. So, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for watching. If you want to get a reading, the list is open. We are going to go right into the readings right now. So, let me go check the PayPal real quick, because I know we have somebody on there. And I really encourage you guys to sign up for the Module 4 of the Aquarian Astrology. So Melanie is on the list, and that's everybody so far. So thank you. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and start with your reading, Melanie. Feel free to put up your question, and let's see what we got. And in the meantime, I am going to say a little prayer. Thank you, spirit guides, angels, teachers, for being here with us tonight. I would like to call for your assistance tonight, helping to clear my energy and also the energy of the cards that I'm going to be using tonight, so that I can be that clear, open channel for the messages to flow through for everybody that has a question tonight, everybody that needs some guidance tonight, whether it is through the cards or whether it is through the astrology. And I want to thank you for your guidance and your presence, and for being here with us tonight. Oh. Hey, Alexa, how's it going? Exactly, Alexa. You have to. This is the time to be adaptable to. There is a lot like that. There's a lot of importance in going with the flow right now, because if you let yourself get frustrated by the energies, you will get nothing done. So, yeah, definitely. Definitely. So right now we're waiting for Melanie's question, and if anybody wants to get on the list is open if you need some guidance tonight. The cards that I'm going to be using if you're going to do a oracle reading, tarot reading. I have the goddess cards. I've been doing it like a new type of reading. I have the goddess cards and I have the Avalon cards as well. Yeah, right. I also have the animal spirit cards, and also the Matt Con, the special messages, the special mantra cards. So all these things available to use for the tarot and oracle. And if you do get an astrology reading, I will show you the chart on the screen as well, which is kind of fun. I just discovered a scratch on my desk. Dang it. I gotta get, it's a glass desk, so that's an issue. I'll have to find a way to fix that. Since I kind of know your situation, Melanie, just feel free to ask a simple question, and so we can get moving with that. Oh, that's right. I was going to plug my phone in. Well, we're waiting for a question. I'm actually going to go grab my charging cord for my phone. Give me 1 second. All right. So, Melanie, are you typing in your question? Let's go. Let's go. Or maybe you stepped away for a minute. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, we're going to do a tarot reading. So, it's your son's birthday, and you have health risks that run in the family. He turned 41 this year, so is this something we should worry about? Okay, so let's see what the cards say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 4 goddess cards, and then I'm going to pull 4 accompany cards from the Avalon deck. And then if we need to pull some clarifiers, I'll pull some clarifiers as well. All right. Thank you for putting up your question. I was just kidding about being in a hurry. All right, let's see. So what does Melanie need to know about the situation right now? Does her family need to worry about the health risks that run in the family? What insights can she receive right now with these cards? Like literally we have all night, right? Okay. So two more cards, and then I'll show you what's actually popping up. Okay, so we've got Machig Labdron. She's the first goddess. She's the diamond-hearted Dakini. I see the light in my own darkness. I face my ego beliefs to feel free. I actually really like this card that's coming out. I'm going to show you all the cards first. She's accompanied by the card of fear. We've got Rabia, the queen of saintly women. I am in service of divine love. I move the way love asks me to move. So there we go. There's that image. She comes with the card. She's accompanied by the card of perception. We have Mary Magdalene. I love Mary Magdalene. She brings prophecies to life. She was also a spiritual teacher of the sacred divine feminine lineage. She comes with the card of partnership. And the third one is Our Lady of Guadalupe, and she brings in protection, and she also comes with the goblin, which is about ego healing, ego wounds, things like that. Hey, Wendy, welcome in. So we are doing a reading for Melanie right now. Okay, so let me feel into this right now because there's a really powerful message and I can feel it. So when I see the card of this, the first goddess, Machig Labdron, she's the diamond-hearted Dakini, and she's about understanding that there is darkness, that there's an essence of darkness, and I feel this, there's an essence of darkness and fear. Your question itself, the situation itself, is bringing up those fears, and we see this showing up in these two cards. Now, the important thing to realize right now, and this is what I believe these two cards are wanting to tell you, Melanie, is that you have to see through the fear right now. You have to see through the darkness. You have to trust that there is always something that lies like deep within, that is that beautiful light that shines out. And letting go of any kind of belief system that tells you that things are not going to go good. That's the first thing that I notice here, that there's a presence of fear. There's a presence of like feeling the darkness. There's obviously, right? Because the situation that's presenting itself is obviously going to bring those feelings up. So that's kind of like the obvious part. But there is an important thing that says here that you have to focus on. If there's any kind of light, if there's any kind of positive outcome that could come out of the situation, it's better to focus on that, right, than to focus on anything negative, obviously, because we all know that when it comes to the law of attraction, when you focus too much on something, you tend to like attract it. You tend to bring it closer to you. And that is what we need to always be aware of when we worry about things, when we bring a lot of that anxiety or that worry, that we tend to bring ourselves down. And sometimes we make things worse in our own minds and in our own essence than they actually are in real life or in reality. That's the first thing that comes out. The next card, the Queen of Saintly Women. Here's something that I see. There's a sort of the presence of these three goddesses, these three next goddesses, right? The Rabia, the Queen of Saintly Women, and Mary Magdalene and Our Lady of Guadalupe. These are all sort of these are figures that are very much, they come from this sort of a religious kind of atmosphere or a religious kind of belief system, or they're figures that are all similar to you could say Catholicism or Christianity. These three women, like saints, Mary Magdalene and Our Lady of Guadalupe, which basically Our Lady of Guadalupe is the Virgin Mary, like in Spanish. She represents like the Virgin Mary, and in Spain and Mexico, that's who they celebrate, is the Virgen de Guadalupe, but she actually is the Virgin Mary. And here's one thing that I will say about the energy that I feel with this is, first of all, the Guadalupe is, she brings in, she's the symbol of miracles. Mary Magdalene is a symbol of like trusting your own power, trusting your own strength, trusting your own intuition, and she brings forth the prophetic messages. And she herself is very much the advocate for that sacred divine feminine, the power of the sacred divine feminine, the power of women to manifest. We as women, there is a famous quote that comes from a teacher that I learned a lot from in a past life, pretty much, because I wouldn't consider that my current teachings. But there is a quote that says that we are 16 times more powerful than men. And that's not to put men down at all. It's the essence that comes with the sacred divine feminine power, and it's the one thing and the reason why as women we've been pushed back and down is because there's a fear of that intense power that comes with the sacred divine feminine. And I am feeling this energy here in this, especially the Mary Magdalene card. So there's a saint here, Mother Mary's here, Mary Magdalene's here. This is the power of the sacred feminine that's coming through, that's saying, look, your power right now, what you need to focus on is on holding sacred space, right? Instead of worrying, instead of focusing on the fear, and instead of focusing on the dark, instead of focusing on the worst possible outcome, how can you focus on the best possible outcome? And the truth is that this is a message of miracles. That, in the story of these women, like everything was a miracle. And that is what the universe wants you to focus on. Now, there is a powerful, this card of perception that comes up. And that's exactly what I was talking about in terms of the law of attraction. Your perception is everything right now in terms of this situation. And the wounds, right? The wounds that you carry within yourself, which is represented by, this goblin, the goblin card, is what's actually going on beneath the surface. I think this reading is telling you to believe in miracles. I think that's what's going on here, is the universe wants to tell you, like, you have to believe in miracles. And it's speaking to you through these images, through these goddesses that their lives, they had to believe in miracles. Right? You don't become a saint out of nowhere. And that's, I think, the main message that's coming out for you. I would like to pull one of the mantra cards. Like, the fear is there, the possibility of the worst possible outcome is there, but if you focus on the miracle, what if you focus on the best possible outcome? I don't actually think that, I don't actually see something negative coming from this, like a negative experience, or like you were, talking about. But I do see that if the focus is on the negative, then that's what will come closer. Embracing worthiness is the card that you get from the Matt Kahn cards. And this is the mantra. I feel worthiness filling every cell of my body, and it feels amazing. And the worthiness is important because it's almost like there's a mantra too that's coming to me with this card, and it's the mantra that's called Ang Sang Waheguru. And I actually chant this mantra, or I use this mantra in a lot of my songs. Because I love it, because it's literally like this mantra. It's every cell of my being vibrates with the energy of the universe, which means that infinite possibilities are here. There's infinite possibilities. You get to choose. So this reading is focusing very much, and the reason why I actually recommended you get a tarot reading, because in a situation like yours, there's really no way to know what's going to happen. And that's why the universe is asking you to believe in miracles. And I'm going to leave it right there, because I feel like that kind of completes the message. But I would think about what you're putting your focus on. Think about where you're putting your energy, and that will be, the answer for you in this situation. So I hope that gave you some guidance. Okay. So I'm going to go check the PayPal, and we're going to update the list. And if you guys do want to get on a reading, thanks for being here. Wendy, she has been posting up the information. We have Dawn on the list next. And then there was one person that I did see who I think sent Cash App. So we're going to go check that real quick. Okay, so it's reading for Lilia. And that's for card reading. And then you're on the list again for the astrology reading. So let me come back to the chat. Thank you guys so much for signing up as well. I really appreciate it. You help me so much when you do sign up for readings and all that stuff. Hey, Ellie, how's it going? Oh, good, Ellie. Good. Lily says, sent money through Cash App. My life mission. I want to know what in the world's supposed to be doing. Okay. And you're welcome, Melanie. So Dawn is next. So we're gonna Dawn, go ahead and put up your question, whatever it is you want to get. And so if you, I think Lily, this might be your first time. I don't know if it's your first time getting a reading here. So the way that it works, just so that you are aware, is you'll make the payment, and I have a list here, so I put your name down on the list, and then when it's your turn, I let you know, and then you put up your question in the chat, and so then I can see it in the time that we are doing your readings. So I know you've posted your questions already, but I'm going to ask you to post them again in a little bit after Dawn's reading. So make sure you're ready, because you are next after Dawn. And I would let's do the tarot reading first and then the astrology reading second for you. Ellie says, Dewey and I were talking about this exact thing today, what we are focused on. Yeah, you're welcome, Ellie. I'm glad that reading resonated. I'm sure it resonated for a lot of people as well. And remember, if you do want to sign up for a reading, you definitely can. And you can do astrology or tarot. So awesome. Okay, thank you, Lily. And also, if you do sign up for a reading, you are entered to win the giveaway, the monthly giveaway for September, which I will do at the end of the month. So know that your name will go into the raffle. All right. Dawn says progressed is actually the word for that kind of chart reading. Because WTF is happening in my life, and where am I going? Okay. Let's pull it up. I love looking at the progressed charts. So I'm going to pull it up. 121064. Have we looked at your progressed chart? I can't remember if we have or not. AM. Woodbury. New Jersey. Yeah, you're welcome. You know, it's easy to confuse that word, but yeah, the actual technical word for the type of reading is it's called a progressed chart, or a secondary progression chart. Those are the two technical terms for it. Okay, so let's check it out. Let's pull up secondary progressions for today right now. And I'm going to pull this up on the screen for you. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, cool. No, that's good. That means that we haven't. Yeah, because the one thing I do want to say about the progressed reading is you don't really need to do multiple progressed readings because they don't move very fast. The readings don't move very fast. So you would look at your progressed chart. You would do that. You would do like you could do like I offer this outside of hang on, I'm trying to make sure this works. So outside of here the channel, I do private readings, and if we did look at your progress chart reading and you did the deluxe chart reading, then that would mean that we could look at like the whole year ahead. Okay. So here's in the inside is your natal chart, and then on the outside is your progress chart. So the thing that we focus on when it comes to progress charts is you look at the sun, the movement of the sun, and then you look at the movement of the moon, and then you look at how they're in relationship to each other. And the moon goes through the phases just like it does on the regular calendar, but it goes through these phases as well, and each of those phases gives you insight into what's happening as a theme in your life, because in a progressed chart the moon moves through per sign. It takes about 2.5 years to move through a sign. In real life, the moon moves through a sign every 2.5 days, but in the progressed chart it stays in that sign for 2.5 years. And so you can see how you don't need to do a progress reading like every month. It's just like you do it once and you get the theme for the whole year and you're good. So let's take a look at what's going on here in Dawn's chart. So the first obvious thing is that you have, let me make sure that we can see what's the right thing here. So you were born with your sun in Sagittarius, and you were born with your moon in Pisces. So that's in your natal chart. Right now, your sun has progressed to 15 degrees of Aquarius, and it is transiting your 12th house. And your moon is actually at 16 degrees of Pisces, and it is in your first house. So you have recently what the phase that the moon is in right now in your progress chart is called the crescent phase. So you're in between the phase where there was a new moon and there's going to be a square. If you think about a square, it's 90 degrees, so it would be something like this, right? Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus. So when the moon makes it to the Taurus, so it's 15, Pisces, 15 Aries. So when it makes it to about 15 degrees of Taurus, that's where you're going to have the square. And in the square is basically the moment where things start to become a little challenging. Right now, here's what's going on. And I'm going to actually verify something real quick by looking at, I want to look at the timing of what we're talking about here. So we're going to go back a few months. May, April, March, February, June, May 2019. Let's go back to exactly when the moon was conjunct the sun. So your new moon phase started in 2017. So in December, around the holidays of December of 2017, your sun met up with your progressed sun met up with your progressed moon, and that was a new cycle. Howdy, it was a new cycle. And remember, these cycles, because the sun in progressions, the sun takes 1 degree is basically a whole year. So this means that the full moon the whole cycle of the moon, instead of taking 28.5 days, it actually takes 28.5 years. So this started a new 28-year cycle. So since 2019, you have begun like a new story. And what you're focusing on right now, because if we start going back forwards, since that day, the moon, continued in Aquarius, and then it moved into Pisces. And let's see, this December, then we got February 2020, April, May, June, July, August, and here we are like around September. You are now building on that thing that started in December of 2019. So right now is actually a good time for you to keep focusing on you're actually creating things. The moon is in its waxing phase. And so you're going to feel like, okay, maybe there's something new that I want to start. Maybe there's something, but you've been feeling this since 2019. There's a new thing that you're focusing on in your life. And it has to do with spirituality because it is, let me go back to your chart so I can actually write on it. This cycle, because it happened in Aquarius, in the sign of Aquarius, and because it was transiting your 12th house, it's a spiritual sort of awakening. It's something that was hidden, came up to the surface, and you are going through the manifestation of that story. Yeah, you're going through the manifestation of that story, and you're understanding the story, and you're adding more things to it, and you're starting to build, and that's what you're going through right now. It's like the building phase, and that does mean that you're going to see, you're probably, honestly, this phase is a positive phase of the moon, of the progressed moon. When it gets to the square, when it gets to the official square, which we can look at that too, actually, now that I think about it. When the moon gets to it's going to be in Taurus, and it's going to be around like 20 degrees of Taurus. That's not till 2025. So you see how long these cycles are? In 2025, you're going to feel some big challenge is going to show up in your life. And you're going to have to deal with it, and you're going to have to resolve it. And that's the square phase. But right now, you're in the building phase. So feel good about, know also that the moon is in the sign of Pisces right now for you, your progressed moon and your natal moon. So you're kind of feeling that return of the moon into your natal sign. And that's a very beautiful, again, a spiritual thing. And when you think about the Aquarius new moon, this could also have to do with new friendships. This could also have to do with new networks, new connections, also a new way of you sharing yourself or your gifts to the world. Groups, maybe you got involved, you started getting involved with different groups of people. Maybe you started making different friends that were maybe more on like the spiritual path that you were kind of beginning, embarking on. So that's kind of what you're going through right now. And that's the main thing to think about, is like you're actually going through a positive phase where things are building, and you're building on whatever has occurred since 2019. Hopefully that resonates for you. Yeah, your moon sign is a really beautiful sign for sure. So there you go. So now we got Lily is next. So go ahead and put up your question, your tarot question, Lily. Hello, Abby. How's it going? So let's actually do the tarot reading first. You're welcome. I think it's a good place to be. I think right now the phase that I'm going through is I may be going through my first square, and that's kind of difficult because it does bring up some kind of challenge. The challenge comes up that needs to be, resolved and figured out, and you don't really have a way out. You have to. It's not a bad thing, but it's progress, and progress always comes with big changes and big shifts that don't always feel comfortable. You mean for yourself, or do you mean for the collective? Okay, I feel out of place. So you want to know like kind of general, like a general tarot reading, like kind of what's coming up for you? We can definitely do that. I freaking love my hair. The relationship. All right. So I didn't read your previous comments, so I'm not really sure what you're talking about. So will you give me a little bit of information about, you know, the relationship itself? Like, is this a love partnership? And if you're wanting just like general energies about what's happening with the relationship, I can totally do that. I was just thinking that like I didn't really know that you were referring to a relationship. Okay. So the chart, the astrology information, what did you want me to do with the astrology information? And whose information were you putting up on the screen, the astrology stuff? Just so I can have some clarity in my mind as I do your reading here. Okay. Excuse me. I like the spider. Let's take a look at these two cards. Okay. Okay, got it. Got it. So for the astrology reading, we'll do a transit reading. Thank you. And then for the tarot reading, we'll do it in regards to the relationship. Okay, here we go. Now it's all clear. So let me see what we got here. We got Ariadne, Mistress of the Labyrinth, Teresa of Avila, Saraswati, and Freya. The connecting theme between these cards okay, so Ariadne comes out as the mistress of the labyrinth. She's about trusting your own soul. She's telling you to trust yourself, to trust your own higher self, your intuition. And she's saying the only way out is through. And she's coming out with the restriction card. This relationship feels restrictive to you. This is the actual energy. So this is the actual energy. It's like there's restriction here. And it's a restriction for you feel restricted at a soul level with this relationship. It feels like it's you're not able to express yourself fully. You're not able to be yourself fully. However, she also says the only way out is through. So whatever the solution is, not running away at all. The solution is to get through the challenge, to deal with it, to face it head on. Otherwise, you'll never feel the release of that pressure. Now, let's talk about Teresa of Avila and the spider. Teresa of Avila, again, is all about knowing your soul. She talks about this, that the soul has 7 mansions, and these 7 mansions are like this beautiful expression of the universe, and they guide you deeper into yourself, deeper into your own being. And the spider is about connecting the dots and building your web, and also understanding that you're not alone, and understanding that there's a cosmic, the spider is about a cosmic purpose. There's a higher purpose for this whole situation. There's a higher meaning that you may have not realized what that is yet. I think there's a lot of fear. I think there's a lot of fear involved right now. And Saraswati is the goddess of self-knowledge. I think she's telling you to trust yourself, to trust your intuition a little bit more, to, yes, acknowledge that there is fear in your life, but that it's not the only thing, and that you can move through these, energies. You can move through the fear and take yourself into a place of knowledge. And that's what you need to do right now. You need to learn how to discern between, this is Freya. You need to learn how to discern between what is yours and what is not yours. What is your intuition? What is not your intuition? This is about being wise. You only say yes when it's a hell yes, not when it's a maybe, I'm not sure, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. That's not the guidance that you need right now. The guidance that you need right now is you need to trust 100% that initial gut feeling, gut reaction about a situation, and you need the truth, and you need to be courageous, but you need to also have self-respect, and you need to be responsible. And that's the Lady of the Lake. Freya and the Lady of the Lake come out together. And they're like, okay, we don't have time for BS. We don't have time. We need to know what's going on. We need to know the truth. We need to be able to discern. And the only way you can discern is you need to first trust yourself and your intuition, but you need to get more knowledge about what's going on. You need to understand more about what's going on, and you need to trust your own intuition when it tells you, hey, this is the answer over here. Are you listening to that answer? Are you trusting that guidance, that inner guidance that comes from within? So you're kind of in this situation, this relationship, you're being asked to listen to the voice of discernment, the voice of knowledge. Have you ever heard of the book The Voice of Knowledge by Don Miguel Ruiz? Excuse me, you guys. I just got the sniffles now after I sneezed. But if you haven't heard of that book's coming up to me for some reason. The Voice of Knowledge. It's kind of wordy. Like it's there's a lot of information in that book, but I think that it'll help you to understand what it is when we talk about the voice of knowledge. It's knowing where knowledge actually comes from for you. Like, where do your belief systems kind of come from? For some reason, that book came up. I don't know if it means you got to read it or not, or maybe check it out or see if it's something that kind of interests you. But The Voice of Knowledge by Don Miguel Ruiz, that voice of discernment. What you need to take some time to do with this situation, with this relationship, is to ask yourself, like, where are you at? What's the next step for me? And what's really going on here? Right? Is this person like Is this situation just causing more havoc in my life? There's something about you need to stand in your power and in your own truth through this. And you need to acknowledge that, yes, there's fear, but also know that you need to move through that fear. There's a higher purpose for it, and that's why it's going on. But it's definitely causing way too much restriction in your life, and you that's why you need to find out the truth, because you got to get rid of the restriction part of it. But you're not going to know, like, you won't be able to discern what is actually restricting you within the relationship unless you actually go find the answers. And that's why you need more knowledge. You need more information to be able to make a decision. So find the information, and then you can figure out exactly how to respond. I'll pull an affirmation for you as well for this. So what's Lily's affirmation for right now? Oh my God, you got the same card that we just got, embracing worthiness. Okay, so maybe this is about, maybe you don't feel worthy enough right now. This is your mantra. I feel worthiness, filling every cell of my body, and it feels amazing. That's trust, that's self-trust. Like, feeling worthy of something is actually a big deal. You need to bring back that feeling of worthiness for yourself. That's what's going to help you in your life. So I am going to now pull up your information for your chart. And we'll take a look at the transits. And yes, Lily did pay for 2 readings. If you want to sign up for a reading, the list is open. I'm going to pull up the chart first. And I do thank you guys for being here, watching and hanging out with us. 1963, 3:30 a.m. That's a cool time. All right, January 18th, 1963, 3:30 a.m. in Juarez. And let's take a look at the current transits. And then I'm going to share this with you on the screen. Okay. I'm not sure how to communicate with my partner. We've been in separation and a huge space and time now of no communication, but spiritual growth. I'm afraid to get hurt again, and it's taking me almost a year to build myself from underground upward, inside out. Okay, so again, with the cards that we just got for you, so there's still some like inner work, I guess, that needs to be done. There's still, like, you need to know more about what's going on. Like, I don't think you have all the information to be able to make a decision. That's what I'm getting. But this is your natal chart, and then these are the transits. So we're gonna look at what's happening for you right now. The first thing that I can tell you is that the recent new moon that happened in your 10th house, the Virgo new moon. And that's the house of career. So this new moon is giving you an opportunity to focus on career and to focus on the things that you want to build in terms of career. So that's where I would recommend you focus your energy for the next month or so. The Mars retrograde is happening in your fifth house, and that's the house of creativity, and that's the house of, it's also the house of children. It's also the house of romantic love or romantic relationships. So these are the things that are being affected by these energies. So what that means, the Mars retrograde slows things down. So for you, it's slowing down your creativity. Like maybe you feel a little bit lazy about creating. Maybe you feel a little bit like you're not, you're not motivated right now to be creative. You're not, or at least you're trying to, or you could be trying to create things in your life, but at the same time what's happening is it's not working. Like, or it's taking forever. Like it's extra difficult to be creative in your life. I have my own business. I've been focusing on my business and my kids. Yeah. So, and interesting enough, the new moon, however, even though you do have that Mars retrograde in your fifth house, so maybe it's difficult for you to be creative right now, but at the same time, it doesn't mean don't do anything. It just means that it's going to be, you just have to understand that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get things going, to get things moving. And if you're okay with a slower pace, you still have to put in the work, like put in the little, every day a little bit, every day a little bit, and you will be able to get, you'll be able to get to that place that you want to get to. That's what I'm doing in my business. Things are taking a little longer, but it's not deterring me from continuing to work on the projects that I am working on. And so that you need to also remember that. The Saturn, Jupiter and Pluto are actually transiting your second house, and they have been kind of conjuncting your sun and your south node. And you were born with a sun conjunct the south node, which means that it feels like you may feel like you keep getting pulled back into like past life issues, karmic things. And so that in itself can feel challenging to be born with the sun conjunct the south node, because you find it hard to move towards what you actually are supposed to be focusing on in this lifetime, which is your heart, what you love, your family, nurturing, finding nurturing for yourself and being able to nurture other people. You're supposed to move towards that north node in Cancer, but you kind of keep getting pulled back towards focusing on career and focusing on being, showing up in the world, when the universe really wants you to focus on like that nurturing aspect of yourself. So that can be a little bit challenging. And Capricorn sun, you have been getting really intensely affected by Saturn, Jupiter and Pluto in Capricorn this year, 2020. It's been what they're doing is they're breaking down the old structures and bringing in the new structures. So you are dealing with breakdowns of how money comes to you, how finances come to you. So you have to let go of the old way that money was coming in, and you have to allow a new way of making money to come in. Now, it doesn't mean you have to stop what you're doing. It just means you have to tweak it a little bit. You can't try to go against the current. Because right now it's impossible to go against the current or to try to keep things the way they always were. That's not the theme. The theme is change and go with it. And so you have to let your mind start to create new things. Now, here's the exciting thing is you're about to go through your second Saturn return. And the second Saturn return, so Saturn is going to move into the sign of Aquarius on December 21st. And so Saturn is in a sign for about maybe because it's been in Capricorn since 2017. Maybe like 2.5, almost 3 years in a sign. And eventually you go through a return, right? So when Saturn returns to the sign it was in when you were born, that's called the Saturn return. You have one at 30 years old, and then you have one at around 60-ish. So you're going to have it soon. You're going to have it next year. And Saturn returns are always about, they're like a sobering experience. It always teaches you how to be more responsible. But because this is the second Saturn return, this is more about you stepping into your own power and getting more comfortable. And because it's in your second house, it's gonna help you to that whole area that you're kind of struggling with right now. It's going to help kind of solidify and bring more strength into like new ideas, new innovative ways to make money, and things like that are going to be coming up this next year. So it's kind of a cool, it's a good, like, it's a shift, it's a strong thing that's happening in your chart. And I think I'm gonna leave it at that because I think that was kind of a lot. And then, so Jupiter is going to, so you're going to have your Saturn return. You just had a nodal return. You're going to have Saturn return next year. And then the year after that, you're going to have a Jupiter return. And that is when that's like abundance and beautiful things come into your life. So just know that there's like good things coming for you in the future. All right, let me go check the PayPal real quick. So thank you for getting a reading. Appreciate that. So we've got Jessica. It is your turn. So let me know what kind of reading you want, and then put your information in the chat, please. You're welcome. All right. September 10th, 1979 on 42 a.m. Mankato. And you want a transit reading? Okay. Thank you guys so much for signing up for readings. I really appreciate it. Appreciate the support. I can always go grab my book. Dawn, I can always go grab the book. Okay, so here we go. This is Jessica's transit reading. So what we got is the new moon was in your sign, and that's actually really beautiful. That's really auspicious. We're going through your season, Virgo season, and that's actually really cool and really fun. You have a lot of Virgo energy in your chart. And when the new moon conjuncts near your sun, which is basically what happened, but it's actually really close to your Venus. The new moon was at 25 degrees of Virgo. And it did happen in your 12th house. So that's actually really cool. It activated a very powerful kind of spiritual awakening. You may have been having really strong, powerful dreams lately. That's always cool. And that was the moon that just happened. That was the new moon. The sun is going to move into Libra. And it is actually, uh, your Libra rising. So it's going to feel like Libra, it's going to feel like your season all over again, right? Because the sun and the rising are two very important signs in the chart. So you're going from Virgo season into like Libra season, being a Libra rising, and it's going to feel good. It's going to feel like, okay, comfortable energy. I like this. Okay, good, good. Um, Here's the things. Here's like the big shifts that are going on for you. So the Mars retrograde is occurring in your seventh house. So this is relationship. This has to do with relationships for you. Um, Things in terms of your the world of relationships probably don't feel like the best right now, or it probably feels like things are moving really slow, and maybe you would prefer for them to move faster. You probably have like maybe enthusiasm about things in relationship wise, but Mars retrograde is making things feel like those things are not possible, or it's asking you to make changes that you don't want to make, or causing things, if things feel harder, like it might feel harder to get done what you want to get done in terms of your relationships right now, but it's really affecting that realm of your life. So that's important to know, because that transit is going on until November, I think 13th or 14th or something like that. So that whole time, relationships are going to take that big seat in your life, and you have to pay attention to that. And don't get frustrated when things don't seem to work out. Give yourself time. That's what we really need to do right now, is just make sure that we give ourselves the time that we need to process everything that comes up. For you, it's in your relationship house. The let's see what else here. In terms of like, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, which are the big three major planets this year, are transiting your third and fourth house. They, you know, Saturn recently, well, Saturn had been, because they're retrograde, it's like they've been kind of doing this dance right here. It's this dance back and forth between your third and fourth house. So breaking down your mode of communication, the way that you communicate, but also breaking down in terms of life at home and life with your family. I don't know if you have kids or not. Like all that stuff is like, it's kind of been going through, but those themes have been kind of getting turned upside down. So there's been a lot of big changes in terms of how you communicate and what you communicate, and then also at home, the theme of home and life and family and all that stuff. Those things have been turning upside down, because there's a new sort of wave and energy coming, and you need to get on board with that. And so that's why that aspect of your life may be feeling like has been going through a lot of transition and a lot of change, because we're getting ready for a new energy. And everybody's going through that, like releasing, letting go of the old and bringing in the new. So that's the theme that's been happening for you this year, 2020. That's where you've been kind of doing the healing. And the square from Mars to Saturn is like home and seventh house. I've been home 99% of the time since the pandemic, until about last week, when I bought a car and started getting out of the house and going places. Interesting. Well, that's actually cool. Congratulations. Just, plainly said. Um, I mean, I think that's a good thing. I think you might need that. I think you like, we all need that. We can't all, be stuck at home forever. That's a lot to ask. But the energy wise, the Mars square Saturn has a lot to do with your relationships, but your relationships at home. So that's a big theme for you right now. Where's your Jupiter? You got Jupiter in Leo. You have Saturn in Virgo. You know, you do have Neptune. Neptune is opposing your sun right here. And that's kind of a long transit because Neptune moves really slow. So you were born with a lot of Virgo energy in your 11th house of friends and sharing your gifts with the world, and like friendships are really important to you, and you love your friends really dearly. You care a lot about your friendships. Right now, you're feeling this sort of things seem unclear in terms of like your creativity, how do you want to like spend your time. Also, relationship with your kids, your children, I think is probably changing. I think there's a lot of things that don't seem very clear right now for you, because the Neptune causes this kind of fog to appear in your life. So, but as soon as Neptune moves off that position, you'll feel more clarity in your life. But know that that's going to take a while because Neptune does travel pretty slow. And you may have been feeling this for a while, not just like in the last year, but maybe within the last, couple of years, things like that. Things haven't been as clear as you had hoped. You haven't had like 100 straight answers for a while. And let's see what else. I mean, it's kind of big. Those are big things. It's like it's a big deal when you have that Mars and Saturn energy squaring in your 4th and 7th houses, because it has a lot to do with like how it's affecting your relationships. So that's your focus. So just know that that's the focus, but also know that like you don't have to get stuck. Like this, not really a time to get stuck. It feels like things are moving really slow, but at the same time, we can like stay focused on what we really want to focus on, and put in the work little by little, step by step. We can make it happen. We just can't force it. We can't force it to happen the way that we want it to happen as much as we want it to happen. So we have to take our time with it. We have to allow that. Yeah, I think that's all I see that's kind of really significant right now. You are also so one thing that is actually really I would have to look at your chart a little more closely to see the exact dates, but I do see that you're kind of going through you're very, very close to a Uranus opposition. How old are you right now? So that's actually pretty significant. The Uranus opposition is like the midlife crisis. It happens usually around between 42 and 44 years old, and it causes disruption in your life, and it causes things to come up. Okay, so maybe you're about to go through a Uranus opposition, and that's going to mean that something will come up that you need to figure out and heal. And it will have to do with your relationship. So that's kind of heavy. There's a book I would recommend reading so that you're more aware of this phase. And it's called Kundalini. Hang on, let me go find it real quick. The author's name is Barbara Handclough, and it's called Astrology and the Rising of Kundalini. And that's a book I would recommend you get. You can get it on Audible, and you can listen to it. And it talks about more than just the Uranus opposition, but it does give you a really nice picture of what it means and what to expect. And it has charts and tables that you can refer to see when exactly it's happening for you. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So but it's important it would be nice if I was prepared for it. You know what I mean? In my own life, I would like to be prepared, especially if I know it's happening in a year, because it's a big, big deal. Wendy says it causes a shift in perception. Yes. So that I would say that's bigger than all this other stuff, honestly, that's going on. So I would put the time in to think about that. Because everything that you thought was going and the way it was going, it could completely change. Like it'd be like night and day. And Uranus, it's unpredictable. And it causes you to face things that you weren't ready to face. But that's the whole point, because it wants you to change and it wants you to find your freedom again. Yeah. So Uranus opposition is all about being free. I need to be free. Like I haven't been, honoring myself. And so now Uranus makes you honor yourself. And that's why it can feel so drastic of a shift, because you start desiring things that you never let yourself desire, but you really did desire them deep down inside. That's what the Uranus opposition does. And so it creates a lot of kind of havoc in people's lives, especially if they're committed relationships, and if they're married, if they have kids. These are things you got to think about, and you should be prepared for as you go through these big changes. How can you support yourself through them so that your life doesn't like fall apart? Because what happens with Uranus opposition is a lot of people, their life falls apart because they weren't honoring themselves. So if you start honoring yourself, then these transitions will be a little easier. You know what I mean? That makes so much sense. I got it during my last transit reading and forgot about it and all the other reading. Yeah, I would be aware of it. I would definitely give it the time of day. But thank you for getting your reading. I hope that gave you some insight. I think that's all we got, unless somebody else signed up and I missed it. I think that's it, you guys. Yep. All right. So we're going to call it a night. Thank you, everybody, so much for coming and hanging out with me tonight. And remember that on Monday night, we are going to go live and we're going to do the fall equinox astrology video. And then on Tuesday night, we're going to do the fall equinox ceremony. That's going to be really beautiful. And don't forget to check out the module 4 for Aquarian astrology. We're going to talk about all about the planet Mercury. And if you have not yet downloaded my free moon astrology guide, make sure you do that. There's a link in the description, and it gets you on my email list. And you'll receive a weekly moon magic report, which is basically the astrological forecast for the week. Focusing on the moon and the aspects that the moon is making to the other planets. So thank you, everybody, so much. I've also uploaded a lot of the information on my readings. So I've kind of, revamped the whole private reading thing. So make sure that you check that out if you're interested in getting a reading. Basically, I've changed it from doing I changed the names of them and kind of like the exact focus of stuff. So the life purpose reading is now the basic birth chart reading. And it's a pre-recorded video that I send out. I've been working on my website too, so you should check it out just because I think it's so cool looking now. But basically, I'm going to read directly off my website. So the life purpose reading is now the basic birth chart reading. The transit reading is now called current astrology energies. We have a deluxe astrology reading, which is like the reading you get once a year. And then there's obviously the tarot reading and then the love astro compatibility reading. So just wanted to tell you guys that I have been working on that as well. If anybody wants to book a private reading. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I will see you guys again on Monday, and I also hope to see you next Saturday for the Aquarian astrology module 4. Satnam, you guys, have a good night.